What is the difference between a legacy and a grantor trust? What is the difference between a legacy and a castle trust?
Welcome to Barry's Bites. Please join our host, attorney and financial advisor Chris Barry.
Trusts are a way to avoid probate, a way to control that distribution, and if it's set up correctly, build in asset protection. There's really two categories of trust. There's what's called grantor trusts and non-grantor trusts. Non-grantor trusts are different from a tax perspective. Grantor trusts are in your Social Security number. Non-grantor trust would have its own tax ID number, would be required to pay taxes. And the word grantor is really the person who set up the trust. So if it's a grantor trust, then it's tied to your Social Security number. For IRS purposes, they don't even look at the trust. If it's non-grantor, then for IRS purposes, it's a separate entity. So those are just the two categories of trust. 95% of the time, if not more, we're doing grantor trust. Typically, this would be more for estate tax issues. It's a lot easier if things are grantor trusts, a lot less record keeping, typically better from a tax perspective as well. Because a non-grantor trust, if it isn't set up correctly, it could be taxed at trust tax rates, which are much higher than personal income tax rates. So that's why almost always we're using a grantor trust. In our office, we break trusts into kind of three categories. You have your basic revocable living trust, then we have what we call our legacy trust, and then we have our castle trust. What the base trust does is it avoids probate and you can control the distribution. So the stuff goes where it's supposed to go. The legacy trust does that, but now protects your loved ones, protects your kids or beneficiaries or loved ones. So whatever they inherit are protected from divorces, creditors, bankruptcies, etc. We think of this as kind of leaving them a legacy where your one trust could split into separate shares, one share for each beneficiary, and each kid or beneficiary could then be the trustee of their own separate share trust that they would inherit from your one trust. More complicated than a basic revocable trust, both avoids probate, but building in this legacy language into the trust builds in protections for the kids. And then the third level of planning is, of course, the castle trust. Not only avoids probate, builds in the protections for the kids or beneficiaries, but builds in asset protection for you, protecting you from creditors and protecting you from long-term care costs. So does the legacy trust protect from lawsuits and Medicaid spend down? Not for you, but it does for your beneficiaries. What is the difference between a legacy and a grantor trust? Legacy trust is a form of grantor trust. What is the difference between a legacy and a castle trust? Both of them are grantor trusts, but one of them just avoids probate and protects the beneficiaries. One avoids probate, protects the beneficiaries, but then gives you asset protection. Does a legacy trust protect from lawsuits and Medicaid spend down? The answer is no. It doesn't protect you, but it can protect your beneficiaries or kids. Hopefully that was helpful.